I'm so excited I'm finally doing this. Hi everyone, welcome to this series of videos on machine learning known as Machine Learning 5. Before I get started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Chikjuel. People call me Mr. CJ. I'm an AI enthusiast. I like talking about AI, and I'm also a machine learning engineer. So what are we going to be doing in this series of videos? In this series of videos, we will mostly be talking about a detailed explanation of all the machine learning algorithms, the maths, and some coding and some examples. So implementation of this algorithm will either be C, C++, Python, or MATLAB. MATLAB is actually a paid tool, so we will be using Octave. But for those of you who can purchase MATLAB, well, no problem. I want you guys to vote on the language, and based on your comments, one language from these languages. So on this series of videos, we will be talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. So let us start by defining these three terms. The first term we are going to define is artificial intelligence. So I would like you to right now just comment, okay, before you listen to my definition. Just comment, don't look on the internet, because I will try to define artificial intelligence from my own knowledge, from what I understand artificial intelligence is. I will try not to look for the definition from the internet. So you guys, please just write your definition. I just want to see what you guys are thinking about artificial intelligence. So if you're walking down the street and someone asks you, hi, please, can you help me define artificial intelligence? I've been hearing this term and I don't really know what it means. I'm going to say artificial intelligence actually has two words. It has artificial. Artificial just simply means you're trying to duplicate something out of something. Right now, I'm talking and waving my hands. We have artificial hands. Okay, why is it artificial hand? Because it is something that is being created to look like a hand, and it also works and also react like a hand. So that is what artificiality means, like you creating something that looks like an original stuff. It can be hardware or software. Now, what is intelligence? Intelligence, right? For me, intelligence is just being able to make decision and learning from your decision. Okay, being my definition of artificial intelligence, which is probably not actually wrong. So I will encourage you to give your own definition of intelligence. I mean, think about it. If you want to get in this world of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, this is an open world where any idea or anything, any thought is highly welcome. Okay, don't feel bad, don't feel your definition is wrong. No, just give your definition, say what you think about the subject, and reason why is it correct. Right? So from my definition, I really say intelligence is just all about making decisions. So are humans intelligent? Yes, humans are intelligent, but are humans super intelligent? I will not really say humans are super intelligent, but we are intelligent. Right now, humans are not super intelligent because we don't know our limits. Okay, for us humans, we don't know our limit. Like, we just see that humans are getting smarter and smarter every day. So this actually comes now. If humans are not really super intelligent, can we build artificial intelligence system which can surpass human? Well, this is a very big debate, and I don't, for now, if you ask me this question, I don't know what I can say. But let us say you can ask me this question like in 10 years to come, 20 years to come. Maybe by then I will have something to say. But let me try to be a little bit optimistic. I will say no, we cannot create system that can surpass human intelligence. So artificial intelligence is just like you creating something. It can be a hardware, it can be a software that work and react like a human, and it is capable of making a decision, and it has a reward, and it learns. And for me, that is my definition of artificial intelligence. So let us move to the next word. What really is machine learning? Now, if you are thinking about machine learning, how do we create this system to be smart? So that is where machine learning comes in. What is machine learning? Machine learning is a field of study that gives computer the ability to learn without being explicit programmed. So now I want to explain the definition of machine learning from autosomal by viewing it how software systems are being created. Traditionally, the way software systems are being created is like we have our data, we have our rules, and we have our software that takes in the data that has rules, and it produces to us some information and as answer. So from the definition, our computer is able now to learn, okay, to learn the rules. So our system, our computer is able to learn the rules from our answer. So instead for us writing software, what we do is we give our answer and we give the data. We like, hey, this is the data, this is the answer of the data. So I want you to like, hey, give me the rules. How do you get from the data to the answer? So that is the definition of machine learning by autonomy, which it is a field of study where the computer has the ability to learn, okay, without you telling it these are the rules, okay. But traditionally we notice that we have the data, we have the rules, we are telling the system the rules, but now instead the system produce us what we call rules. So how the computer actually do this is not actually magic, it is all about math, okay. So if you don't have background in math, I will put a list of math video where it can help you to get started, so you should check on the comments below right now. Okay, according to Andrew Ang, AI is the new electricity. Why? Because software systems are becoming smarter. So instead, for example, say we want to calculate the stock prices of an enterprise, where we have the rules and we have the data. Yeah, the rule is how to calculate the stock price, and our software system produces to us an answer. So instead of doing things traditionally, now our software system is becoming smarter, that it does not only calculate to us the stock prices, but it gives to us reason why our stock prices are high. It is also capable of predicting, and it can analyze, and it is also capable of making decisions. So this is actually a new electricity in software industry, because right now we have our data which is our stock prices, and we have we have our answer, and our system now is capable to tell us the rules, why our stock prices is high. It is able to analyze. I mean, it is, in other words, our system is smart. So let's go back to the definition of machine learning by Otto Samuel. Otto Samuel once again said it is a field of study that gives computer the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Okay, so from this definition, how do the computer actually learn? Now, a computer program is set to learn from an experience E with respect to some class of task T and performance measured P. If its performance at task T is measured by P, improve with experience E. So from this definition, let us say we have assuming we have a task T, okay, and this task T is measured by P, okay. So we have P and we have our task, and this is actually, this measurement is our performance. And if the performance on this task is actually high, if our performance is high, that means our experience also on this task is also high, okay. So this is how our computer actually learns. So for example, I would like us to take this simple program, simple example, assuming that we have create a system in which it recognizes staff, or it recognizes people face. So our task here is what? Our task is facial recognition. So now what is our performance? Our performance is, if we are given an image of someone face, it should be able to recognize that this person is a staff, or the person is not a staff, okay. This is our objective. So if the system actually recognize that it is a staff and the image is actually a staff, our system, the experience on this system will be actually high, so we will have a high experience. I want to talk a little bit about why Andrew Ang is saying artificial intelligence is a new electricity on this example, because right now cameras are not actually smart, okay, because the purpose of a camera is just to take an image. The camera don't care if this person is part of our organization or the person is not part of our organization. So right now we are going to create a system which is telling the camera to like be smart. The camera will be able to make decision, okay. That's why Andrew Ang is saying artificial intelligence is new electricity, because now everything's are becoming smarter. Back to our task. So assuming we have this task, our task C, okay, we want to create a machine learning model system that is capable of recognizing image. Now what we need is our data, okay. We need our data, which is sample of Yes and no. Okay, so our data is going to contain images of employees and images of people who are not also employees. Okay, and we also need to have a starting point. Okay, because when we start to create our machine learning model, our machine learning model is just, it's an iterative process. Okay, because we are going to start at somewhere which is going to be very poor. Okay, so our starting point is just simply hypothesis. A hypothesis is simply a starting point from which further investigation can be carried on. So assuming we have our starting point, so what are we going to do? We are going to measure our performance. Okay, our performance, that is, we are going to measure how this hypothesis is performing on this data, and from there we are going to iterate. So one way to calculate our performance is by using something we call a cost function. Okay, so we will have a cost function, and this cost function is just a mathematical equation. Our hypothesis is also a mathematical equation. We are going to be seeing cost function in our future videos, hypothesis and so on. This one is just a pipeline. This is how machine learning model is being created. So we have our data. Okay, our data, which our at the beginning, before, let me talk a little bit about our data. The data we are going to use here is our training data, because we are teaching, we want our system to learn. Okay, and after that we will also have something called our test data. When we are teaching our system, we use the data we use. Test and training data, actually they are same thing, but the data we use for teaching our system, it is called a training data. And we have our hypothesis at the beginning. Remember, our hypothesis is just something for experimenting, which we are going to iterate over this process, and our hypothesis is going to improve with time. Let us say at the first step we pick a hypothesis, and our hypothesis is actually doing very poorly at this training data. So our cost here will be what? Our cost will be very high. Okay, because the cost just simply measure the performance of the hypothesis on the data. Okay, if our cost is very high, what does it mean by our experience? Our experience is very poor. Sorry, I spelled experience wrong. Our experience will be very poor. Okay, we will have a very poor experience. What we will notice is our experience will be very poor. Now this is an iterative process. Okay, our hypothesis have what we call parameters. Okay, now I'm going to display an image just to explain to you what parameter is. Just like the way radio frequency works, where you have to tune it so that you have a clear frequency in which you don't have noise, this is the same. It is the same thing as our parameters. So for example, assuming you want to tune your frequency, you will have to use this I don't know, this tuner, and you rotate it either left or right so that you have the best frequency in which you can listen to your radio. So this is it is the same thing. It is technically it is the same thing that happened with our parameter. Okay, so we are going to tune our parameter in such a way that we are going to reduce our cost. Okay, because right now our cost is very high. So this hypothesis have parameter in which we can tune, and by tuning these parameters, our cost is going to be low. So what we are going to do is this will be an iterative process where we are going to iterate, and from our cost function, if our cost function is going to high, we will continue tuning our parameters in such a way that our cost function is going to low. So if our cost is very low, that is, our cost is measuring the performance of the hypothesis on the data. So if the performance, if the cost is very low, it means our experience, okay, our experience will be high. This is just the idea. It is an iterative process. So we are going to iterate until our cost is very low and our experience is very high. So when we tune this when we tune the parameters of the hypothesis until we are satisfied, until our cost is very low, until, let us say, our cost is 0%, we have a 0% cost on the training data set, and our experience is very high, that, let us say, 100% on our data set. What are we going to do is we are going to use this hypothesis, okay, this hypothesis which we have trained, and after we have finished training our model, we are going to take now this same hypothesis and we are going to apply this hypothesis now on our test data. Okay, so from our test data we are going to measure now the performance of our hypothesis on our test data. Remember, this test data, it is very different from our training data, because this data, the model or the hypothesis have not yet seen this data. So we are going to test the hypothesis. How good is the hypothesis on the data which it has not seen? We are going to calculate the cost. Let us say maybe the cost now is our cost function, that is the error of which the hypothesis have on this trait of this test data, is 5%. Then our experience, our performance on this our experience of this hypothesis on our test data is going to be a 95%. So that being said, this is actually what I call a machine learning pipeline. Okay, you just have to remember, we have our data, we have our hypothesis, we have the cost, we have our measurement. Okay, and remember, this is an iterative process, okay, on the training data, but on the test data we don't have to iterate. Okay, that being said, we also have another data set, also known as cross validation data. We are going to talk about this kind of data set and on our further lesson. Okay, so from our previous example, we noticed that we have our data, okay, and now we tell our system that, hey, this data, it is yes. We have, okay, let us say this is data 1 and this is data 2 and this data is no. This kind of problem in which we tell our model the type of data we have is called supervised learning. Okay, supervised learning is just simply us telling our system a true and 0 if it is not. So this kind of learning is known as supervised learning. Okay, we will also have, okay, so we also have unsupervised learning, whereby we don't tell the system the answer. The system will automatically know the answer and also automatically learn also the rules. So that being said, we also have another type of learning, also known as reinforcement learning. This kind of learning is mostly used in games. So that being said, guys, this is just an introduction of this series of video. This is the kind of thing we will be seeing. This one was just an overview of what machine learning is, machine learning pipeline, artificial intelligence, and one more thing I have not talked about, data science. Data science is just actually providing insight of data, and the way by which the tools we use in order to gain insight and knowledge of data is through machine learning. So machine learning is kind of like a subfield of data science. But remember, data science is not just all about machine learning. Okay, data science also have other fields. We have business analysis, we also have IT skills. Okay, but machine learning is just like a subfield in data science. Okay, so that being said, I hope you guys understand the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. So our next series of videos will look more into supervised and unsupervised, and we are going to touch our first supervised learning algorithm known as linear regression. We are going to see the math and a lot of explanation and coding, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. I just want to thank you guys for viewing, and if you like what I do here, please share and subscribe. Thank you guys.